What's going on, guys? Thank you so much for tuning in to Late's Hoops. Today's video is just going to be a quick discussion style video regarding the Los Angeles Lakers. We're going to be talking about mostly Russell Westbrook and Anthony Davis in this video, and then at the end we're going to wrap it up by laying down a verdict on whether or not they can really just turn this season around, and so much so that maybe they can be a championship contenders. Be sure to stay till the end and let me know what your guys' opinions are down below. Without further ado, let's get right into this video. First and foremost, let's talk about Anthony Davis and the phenomenal 8-game stretch he's having. I'll put the stats up on the screen for those 8 games. Obviously 8 games is not a huge sample size, but after watching that game versus the Bucks the other night, I think a lot of people are starting to realize that the recency bias of Anthony's injuries is really the only thing that's kept people from not praising him. On the season, he's averaging 27 points, 12.5 rebounds, and about 2.5 blocks on a 64% true shooting split. While not only is he doing this, he's also the overall defensive anchor for this Lakers team, a role that they have desperately been needing to fill for the last 2 years. A lot of us, myself included, were hoping that this would be the year that Bron just passes the torch to Anthony and lets him be that #1 guy. While LeBron, he still has a high usage rate and he still boasts great stats, Anthony, he has been nothing short of amazing to start this season. He just looks so rejuvenated, like he has something to prove on both sides of the ball, which is ironic because back in 2020 he told everyone, I have nothing to prove, all I want to do is win a championship. I don't know if Anthony's going to stay healthy to finish out this season, but for this video and the verdict, I suppose we're going to be trying to keep this best case scenario mindset, meaning that yes, he and the rest of the Lakers will remain healthy come playoff time, or even throughout the season if they, Anthony already missed a couple games with some back injuries, but we're just going to hope it's nothing long term. Anthony has been expanding his range on offense, and no one but himself saw that coming. He actually just made it very simple to head coach Darvin Ham before the season started. I'll put a little pop-up on the screen right now. He said to just throw him the ball, and Anthony's production on offense, while it may be a shock to some, I think we can all agree with the real X factor and the real shocking player, or I guess moment, is Russell Westbrook being reborn off the bench. To me, it almost had Carmelo Anthony, Oklahoma City Thunder vibes written all over it to start the season. And if you guys don't know what I'm talking about, I'm referring to the clip where when Anthony was on the presser in OKC, he was asked, hey, Anthony, or Carmelo Anthony, what do you think about possibly coming off the bench? And Paul George was walking by and he said, AP, they want me to come off the bench. And he kept laughing like that was completely out of the picture, when in reality, sometimes when you're a star of that stature, there comes a point in your career where, okay, you have to take a back seat. You can't be the #1 guy. And this was the reaction of someone who was just resilient to change, someone who did not want change. But Russell Westbrook has been keeping his head up and just playing basketball in any role that the team sees fit in order to help this team lead to wins. At first, I didn't really think the Lakers would keep him past the deadline for the season, but as the season moves along, I'm finding less and less teams that would use him in a more productive way. I thought maybe, obviously we all thought that the Pacers could maybe make a trade. In my opinion, a sleeper destination would be if he got shipped over to Charlotte, just because, LaMelo Ball, he's battling with injuries and not playing. So I just figured maybe they would trade him to Charlotte for some wing or forward or front court depth and just let Westbrook go almost playground mode while LaMelo was hurt. But at this rate, no other team would be using him off the bench or in the starting lineup the way that the Lakers do. I saw on Twitter yesterday that for the first time in his entire NBA career, which if you guys don't follow me on Twitter, it's @LateToHoops. I do tweet throughout the games when I'm watching. If you guys ever want to get active on there with me, you know where to find me. But anyways, what I saw on Twitter is that for the first time in his entire career, we're talking about an MVP caliber player. For the first time in his career, he had 2 nights, 2 games in a row where he played 25 minutes and had 0 turnovers. That type of production and care for the ball was never displayed on any other rosters. It doesn't matter if we're talking OKC or Houston or Washington, it doesn't matter. I'd describe his play style as just more reeled in than ever. This season, off the bench, he's averaging 15 points, 5 rebounds, and about 7.5 assists on 49% true shooting. He is still yet to be efficient from downtown or the free throw line. He actually missed 2 huge free throws against the Bucks. If you guys watch that game, you know what I'm talking about. Thankfully, Grayson Allen missed that 3 and all ended well. But the energy and approach that Russell has for the game, it's just so much better. It's like I'm watching an entirely new version of a player be born. He does sometimes have those not really coordinated kind of explosive attacks where he just barrels to the rim, but like I said, for the most part he looks pretty kept on the offensive side of the ball. And LeBron James said this when he was asked about his thoughts on Westbrook's new role. I mean, throughout Russ's career, at some point he's had to run a team. It's a luxury for our ball club for minutes when AD and myself are not in the game. Tonight he was just more and more comfortable in that role than he's ever been implemented in. We need all 32 sensational minutes that he had, so he's big time. And Anthony Davis had an even lengthier praise for Westbrook, saying, "I just told him honestly before I walked in here, I said the way you're playing and handling everything is tremendous. The way he played in Minnesota, the way he played tonight, it's unbelievable. Like you said, to be a player of his caliber and to be asked to come off the bench, that's truly a guy who's doing whatever the team asks to get the win. Sacrificed his starting position for the betterment of his team. He's flourishing in that role, and that's all we can ask for. I told him, just keep doing what you're doing. Everything you're doing is unbelievable. In the last 2 games, he has been doing his thing. Proud of him. Obviously, it was a tough pill to swallow, but he's been locked in and accepting that role, and that's for all of our guys on the team. K Nunn didn't really play tonight, but accepting his role of still cheering the team on, so a lot of guys, they're just accepting their roles. So it's obvious that the support and the love from the Lakers and other Lakers rosters members, even outside of the superstars, it's there for Westbrook. But what does this mean going forward? Are the Lakers championship contenders all of a sudden? Can they make the playoffs all of a sudden? Well, as we speak, the Lakers, they sit as the 12th seed with a record of 9-12. They're playing the Wizards as we speak, as I'm recording this. So if you're seeing this later in the future, I'm sorry. They are, however, 7-3 in their last 10 games. But it would be wrong of me if I didn't mention that in those 10 games, only 3 of their wins were against teams that are over 500. And that is not at all to discredit them, because they do need all the wins they can get. If they have the opportunity to beat up on the Spurs 3 times in 2 weeks, go for it. However, I still have to say no. I don't think that the Lakers are championship contenders. This team has the ability to be injury riddled. I know we said we'd kind of exclude that, but outside of that, let's just talk about the depth or lack thereof, especially at the wing position. You look at a team like the 2020 Lakers that actually won a championship and realize that outside of LeBron James and Anthony Davis, you had Avery Bradley, Alex Caruso, KCP, Danny Green, Talon Horton-Tucker Jr., Dwight Howard, Kyle Kuzma, JaVale McGee, Markieff Morris, Rajon Rondo, and many more. I just named 10 more than competent NBA players that are able to give, at least in 2020, were able to give outstanding minutes to any roster in the team. It does not matter what they were. They were deeper than the ocean, and I just fear that outside of Bron and AD and Russ, this team has trouble running with the momentum, and other teams are just so much deeper. If you stack the Clippers next to the Lakers, it's not even funny how different the depth runs. I mean, for Pete's sake, the Clippers are the 5 seed without their 2 superstars. That alone should tell you enough what you need to know about what they have going on over there. The West this year, it's so tough, and the East is even better. They get better every year. You have Tatum and Giannis who look like they haven't eaten in weeks. That's how hungry they are. I can't say that this Lakers team is a contender until, like Phil Jackson says, around 70 or 80 games into the season, I see a record that displays more than 40 wins and less than or around 20 losses. But what do you guys think? Are the Los Angeles Lakers contenders or pretenders? Let me know in the comments below. If you made it this far, you know I appreciate you as always, and you're a real one. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Peace.